of staff for the task ahead. It makes workers to be more productive and dedicated to their duties. It raises the quality and quantity of the products and services in the commercialized industries. History: the Nigerian capital market. Nigerian capital market started rolling from the 1960s when Nigerian Stock Exchange, that's Lagos Stock, was opened. At present, the market is gaining depth and becoming steady. The stock exchange is the pivot of the Nigeria capital market. Stock exchange. It is a specialized market in which shares and bonds are bought and sold. Securities here refers to shares, stocks, bonds, and bills. Functions of stock exchange. It assists federal government in the implementation of monetary policies. It determines the value of securities traded on the floor of stock exchange. It assists public liability companies, that's PLCs, to sell debentures, that's raise long-term loans. It provides money to the government through the sales of government bonds, treasury bills, etc. It provides a market for the sales of old shares, stocks, bonds, etc. Importance of stock exchange. It provides market for the sales of both new and old shares and stocks. It generates revenue for the government through income tax. It provides employment opportunities for the people. It provides capital to both new and old firms for their establishment and expansion. It assists the government to raise required funds to meet urgent needs. Organizational sets of stock exchange. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has 3 branches, trading floors. He has one in Lagos, he has one in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and also have one in Benin. Governed by a national board called a council. The members of the council are elected by a group of shareholders at an annual general meeting. The council presided over by a president and the administration headed by a director general. Each branch has a branch council. The director of the branch exchange is a member of the branch council, each represented on the national council of the stock exchange. Transaction at stock exchange. Stock exchange comprises 2 groups of people. We have jobbers and brokers. Jobbers are the actual dealers. That's buyers and sellers of securities like shares, stocks, bonds, bills at stock exchange. Brokers are agents. They act as middlemen between jobbers and members of the public or companies that wish either buy or sell shares at stock exchange. Securities at stock exchange. Stocks are bundles of shares issued by public companies. Shares are small units in the capital structure of a company. Bonds means instruments written IOUs with which government and companies borrow money from members of the public on long-term basis. Debentures are means with which public companies borrow money from the public on medium or long-term basis. Gilt-edged are government securities. These are means with which government borrows money from the public either on short-term, medium or long-term basis, e.g. treasury bills. Capital market. Capital market deals in long-term loans like debentures of corporation, bonds, etc. Method of raising funds. We have offer for sale. Here, when a company in the second tier securities market, that's SSM, refers to sell part of the equity of existing shareholders to new investors. Offer for subscription. When new shares of the company are offered direct to investors to purchase. Also, placement offer. Here, the company seeking admission is sponsored by a stockbroker who undertakes to fund buyers for the shares of the company. Right issue occurs when shares are issued to the interested old shareholders at preferential rates. Speculation. What is speculation? Speculation is the purchase of a good with the hope that it will become more valuable at a future date. There are three sets of speculators. We have bull, we have bear, and we have stag. Bull. This group of speculators buys shares when prices are expected to rise. Bear. This group of speculators sells shares when they anticipate a great fall in their prices in the near future. Stag is mainly interested in new issues of shares and stocks of companies. Second tier securities market, SSN. It is a market for sales of old securities. Advantages of SSN. It complements the efforts of their first tier security market. It facilitates the purchases and sales of existing securities. It enables firms to easily raise capital for their investment and expansion. It facilitates the growth of firms in particular and the development of the economy in general. Operating regulations. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is the main regulatory institution of the Nigerian Capital Market. It is supervised by the Federal Ministry of Finance. The Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE, is privately owned and self-regulating, but the SEC maintains surveillance over it with the mandate of ensuring orderly and equitable dealings in securities and protecting the market against insider trading abuses. First tier or primary securities market. It is for the sales of new securities. The sales of new shares are usually advertised through media. Review questions. What is stock exchange? Highlight its functions. It is a specialized market in which shares and stocks are bought and sold. It assists federal government in the implementation of monetary policies. That's the first function. It determines the value of securities traded. 2. 3. It assists public liability companies, that's PLCs, to sell debentures so as to raise long-term loans. It provides money to the government through the sales of government bonds, treasury bills, etc. It provides a market for the sales of old shares, stocks, bonds, etc. Write short notes on the following: yield-edge securities, debentures, bonds, shares, and stocks. Debentures are means with which public companies borrow money from the public on medium or long-term basis. Yield-edge are government securities, the means with which government borrows money from the public either on short-term, medium, or long-term basis, e.g., treasury bills. Stocks are bundles of shares issued by public companies. Shares are small units in the capital structure of a company. Bonds means instruments, written IOUs, with which government and companies borrow money from members of the public on long-term basis. Another question. Briefly explain the importance of stock exchange. 1. It provides market for the sales of both new and old shares and stocks. It generates revenue for the government through income tax. It provides employment opportunities for the people. It provides capital to both new and old firms for their establishment and expansion. It assists the government to raise required funds to meet urgent needs. Economic groupings in West Africa. 1. ECOWAS. Economic Community of West African States. ECOWAS was established in 1975. Prior to 1975, no meaningful economic cooperation. The strong desire for free trade and mobility of factors of production within the sub-region inspired heads of states of West African countries to set up ECOWAS, whose treaty was signed in Lagos on 25th May 1975. There are 15 West African countries. These are Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Côte d'Ivoire, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo. Objectives: to promote development of West African states in terms of agriculture, transport, trade, technology, finance, etc. To enhance cordial relationship among West African countries. To expand trade between West African countries and the rest of the world. To establish a custom union among member countries. To encourage free movement of factors of production as well as goods in the sub-region. Achievements: it ensures free and fair elections in member states. It has promoted political and military cooperation among members. It has quickened social and economic development of members. It has led to free movement of labor and capital among members. It has encouraged West African states to trade among themselves. Problems of ECOWAS: West African countries produce identical goods for exports. There is a gross inadequacy of funds in the Union. The pursuance of different monetary, fiscal, and exchange rate control policies hinders economic cooperation among members. Some members still discriminate against factors of production from neighboring states. Inability of the Union to adopt a lingua franca and common currency among members. Chad Basin Commission, LCBC. It was established in 1964 by the 4 countries surrounding the Lake Chad. These are Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. It has these objectives. It promotes economic development of members in terms of agriculture, water resources, etc. It eliminates the harmful effects of exploitation of water resources in Lake Chad, and also it conducts researches on how Lake Chad resources can be effectively exploited to raise the standard of living of people in member states. Its achievement: it has led to effective exploitation of Lake Chad's resources and rapid economic development of its surrounding areas. Another organization is West Africa Clearing House, that's WAEC. The Association of West African Central Banks sponsors it. It came into operation in 1976. It has representatives from 15 countries. These countries are Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Mauritania. Aims of West African Clearing House: to encourage the uses of West African countries' currencies in the region, to promote trade in the sub-region, to promote economic and monetary cooperation in West Africa, to reduce the problems of exchange of countries among members. Its achievements: it has assisted ECOWAS in the realization of its main objectives, increasing volume of trade and encouraging mobility of factors of production among members. Niger Basin Commission (NBC). NBC is an intergovernmental organization in West Africa, aiming to foster cooperation in managing and developing the resources of the basin of the River Niger. Its members are Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mali, Niger, and Nigeria. Its objective: it encourages member states to develop close association for the judicious exploitation of the resources of the Niger Basin. It promotes studies on the navigability, agricultural and industrial potentials of the river basin, and to coordinate the said studies and programs for meaningful use of the findings. Mano River Basin, that's MRU. It is an international organization established in 1973 between Liberia and Sierra Leone. In 1980, Guinea joined the Union. The goal of the Union was to foster economic cooperation among the countries. Due to internal conflicts involving the countries, the objectives of the Union could not be achieved. You can see Sierra Leone Civil War, First Liberian Civil War, Second Liberian Civil War. Let's review some questions. Outline the objective of ECOWAS. 1. To promote development of West African states in terms of agriculture, transport, trade, etc. It enhances cordial relationship among West African countries. It expands trade between West African countries and the rest of the world. It establishes a custom union among member state countries. It encourages free movement of factors of production as well as goods in the sub-region. Another question: highlight the objectives of West Africa Clearing House. 1. It encourages the uses of West African countries' currencies in the region. It promotes trade in the sub-region. It promotes economic and monetary cooperation in West Africa. It reduces the problems of exchange of currencies among members. What are the problems of ECOWAS? 1. West African countries produce identical goods for exports. There is a gross inadequacy of funds in the Union. The pursuance of different monetary, fiscal, and exchange rate control policies hinders economic cooperation among members. Some members still discriminate against factors of production from neighboring states. Inability of the Union to adopt a lingua franca and common currency among members.